Okay. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Another gray day, but at least we had some sun yesterday, right? It was beautiful. I went for 2 walks yesterday because I couldn't handle how beautiful the snow looked, and even though it was chilly. So, have you ever had that warring feeling? There's 2 sides of yourself, the warring side and the loving side. I call it your warring side and your infinite side, the infinite self. And, when you're in that war mode, you have this short, choppy breath. Your eyes are darty. Your movements, you could tell when somebody's angry, right? You feel really angry. And when you're tuned into your infinite side, you just feel calm, peaceful. You can deal with anything. You can make good choices. When you're in the angry side, the warring side, sometimes you make snap decisions. You're in this fight or flight mode. And so we can approach life from this calmer, gentler side. It helps. And I wanted to share with you a reading. This is Love is Letting Go of Fear by Gerald Jampolsky, MD. I don't know if you guys have ever read this book, but I like this. He says, singleness of goal. Peace of mind as our single goal is the most potent motivating force we can have. To have inner peace, we need to be consistent in having peace of mind as our single goal. Instead of having a single goal, we are all tempted to try to juggle multiple goals. Juggling can only serve to deflect our focus and increase our conflict. We can achieve consistency in keeping this single goal in mind by reminding ourselves of the singleness of purpose we would have if we suddenly found ourselves drowning in the ocean. We would, in that situation, put all of our attention into the single goal of staying afloat and breathing for survival. So just making peace of mind your only goal helps us to stay more in that calm place where we can make good decisions. So let's just turn there now. So close your eyes. Turn to your breath. This is my number one way to get myself out of that warring, angry, because we all have a dark side. We all have a lighter side. And they're both there all the time. If you can find that universal flow of deep calmness by just turning to your breath. Sometimes you can bring out the more loving side. Having that warring side, that angry side, gives us perspective because we can be more compassionate towards others when they're in that mode, because we know everyone has that side of themselves. But we don't necessarily have to go there. We can accomplish much more and feel better. We can maintain that calm, loving side of ourselves. Please bring hands to heart center. May we all remember that we do have a choice in how we act. We don't have to react. We don't have to be at war. We can make a choice. And tap into the grace that's always there. And please lower your hands, open your eyes. Just want to start by doing a little twist. So twist to your right. And twist to your left. And come back to center. Stretch your arms up. Feel really tall through your spine. Then bring your right hand down and arc towards the side. Inhale, come back to center. And arc to your left side. I don't know why I always feel so tight in the sides of my body. Good. Inhale, come back to center. And exhale, fold forward. Good. And then come on back up and go ahead and transition onto your back. Let me turn this light down a little bit. And just bring the soles of your feet together. Let your knees open in Supta Baddha Konasana, and then bring one hand on your belly and one hand on your chest. Just feel the expansion and contraction there as the breath moves in and out. Good. Now bring your knees up, bring the feet right under the knees, and bring your hands. We're going to work on a little, what do you call that? Spine lengthening. What is that called, Connie? I can't think of the word, but anyway, so the palm of your hand or the butt of your hand right in the hip crease, and then think, okay, I'm just going to press away and lengthen all the way up the spine and through the top of the head. Should feel really good. Keep the rib cage engaged a little bit. Good. And then hug the knees in and roll side to side a little bit. You can feel your hip joints. Good. And then bring the feet down again. Bring the feet wide on the mat, knees together. Press the knees together. And again, put the base of your hand on your hip crease and lengthen your spine. Press the knee, keep pressing the knees together. It'll feel a little different. Lengthen all the way through the top of your head. Try and relax your shoulders a little bit. Oh, that feels good. And then hug the knees in again. And one more little variation. Bring the feet down again. Bring the soles of the feet together. Widen your knees. So Supta Baddha again. And press right at the hip crease. Lengthen pelvis, the spine. Okay, good. And bring the knees together. Bring the feet hip distance. So your knees and your feet are hip distance. Hands right in the middle of the thigh now, but lift the shins. You guys all know this abdominal bracing by now. Flex the feet. Press the thighs up and away and lengthen your spine again. And you should be able to breathe as you're doing this. So don't do it so hard that it's a ton of work. I just want you to feel some work. There's still a little curve in the low belly, but your low belly is drawing up. Your rib cage is back. Back of your head is grounded. Two more breaths. Good, and then hug the knees in. Roll side to side. And a little bit of a variation on that abdominal bracing now. So bring the shins back parallel to the floor, hands in the middle of the thigh. Just keep the right hand there. Keep both knees the same. Bring the left arm up, straight up towards the ceiling. Good, now press up and away. So you're engaging the core, and then very carefully lower, straighten and lower the left leg and stretch the left arm up. And then come back, so knee up, arm up, and keep going like that. Keep the right side really strong. Try not to allow the core to change much as you do this. 3, 4, 5, reconnect, 6, 7, 8, 2 more, 9, 10, and relax. Hug the knees in. Hopefully that felt like a lot of work and it warmed you up this morning. Couple breaths. Wanted you to feel the work in the core area, not in the hip flexors. So use that strength. So reach it up for the other side. So shins parallel, feet flexed. Left hand on left thigh. Right arm up. Press away and up. And then start. 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 more. And relax, hug the knees in. And then bring the feet down, hands by your hips. Feel all that lengthening that happened in your core, and then lift up to Setu Bandha. To kind of stretch out those muscles you just used. And breathe. Feels good, right? And then lower back down. One more time, just regular abdominal bracing. So bring the shins up. I know I'm working you. Flex the feet, hands right in the middle. Press, think low belly up. Curved stays, rib cage back. Nice long spine. 2 more breaths. Good, release. Feet under knees. Last Batu Bandha, lift on up as you become ready. And then lower down, hug your knees in. And you can roll up to a seated position or roll to the side and push up and come to all fours. And I'm going to take off. Already, just push her off. She'll complain, but it'll be fine. And just start moving through some cow, cat. And you can make it a wild cow cat by just swinging your hips and your shoulders, however it feels good. I felt like I did some work in my core. Hopefully you do too. Good, and then come to a flat back position. Extend just your right leg and press through the ball of the foot just to feel a stretch there. And then really strong through the core, lift the right leg. Hips stay square, shoulders stay square. You can feel the work in the meat of the hamstring. And then maybe bring your left hand to your right shoulder, elbow pointing down. And then extend it. Feel that, remembering that spinal lengthening that you did. Keep feeling that, but feel really strong through the glutes and the hamstrings. Good, bring that left hand down. Swing the right foot off to the right side, kind of in line with your right knee. Feel all four corners of that right foot grounded. And you can move forward and back a little bit. See what needs stretching there. I always feel like if I check and see, well, does my kneecap point the same direction as my toes? And it feels like a good stretch. Good, now swing that foot all the way forward to the outside of your right hand. You might have to walk it forward a little bit. Lift the back knee. Come to that humble stretch is what I call it. Stay really strong in the core. Lengthening your spine, drawing your right hip crease back, maybe even widening the knee a little bit. Good, go ahead and lower the knee. Swing that right leg back around and then extend the left leg. Stretch through the ball of the foot. Stretch out the calf. Lift the leg when you're ready. Think, am I really engaging the core? Keeping the hips square. Bring your right hand to your left shoulder. Elbow pointing down. See if you can stay like you're holding a cup steady on your back. Then extend the arm and hold. Spread the weight through out your hand. Little belly draws up, you stay really steady. Good, and then bring the right hand down, swing the left foot off to the side. And just stretch out the inner thigh. Try and get the little toe side of the foot grounded as well. You feel stretch all the way up and down. Good, and then a hard transition, but step that left foot to the outside of your left hand. If you need blocks under your hands, that's fine. Lift the back knee. Humble stretch, humble lunge. I like to try and widen my knee to the left a little bit. Keeping the left hip crease, moving back, the spine nice and long and engaged. Really strong back, right leg. And even in the hardest poses, if we keep tapping into that breath, stay in a place of calm and serene, but notice the challenge. Good. Lower the knee, swing the foot all the way back, and go ahead and sit back to a child's pose with your arms extended. Come up on fingertips. And then plant the hands and make your way to a downward facing dog. Notice how your down dog feels. Can you still find that spinal length? Good, and then walk your hands back to your feet. Turn the toes out a little bit and come down to a deep squat if that works for you. You don't have to go as deep. Just take a moment there. And then bring the hips up, straighten out the feet, and come to your first forward fold. Can you hear her purring? Because she's purring right in my ear, so I bet you guys can. Good, now bend your knees and try and lay your chest on your upper thigh so you feel really connected. And you're gonna try and get in a pretty flat back position. And then interlace your hands and stretch your arms forward. This is a pose. You have to really stay strong and long in your spine. Pretend like you're making a tabletop for a glass again on your back. This is called bear pose for some reason. One more breath. And release and fold forward. Uttanasana, forward fold. And then slowly walk your hands back out to a downward facing dog. Try not to let it be a pose that you just relax into. You want to keep your armpits hollow, your shoulders lifted onto the back, broadening of the clavicles, its bones back and up. Nice long spine. She's biting your hair, right? Extend the right leg and step it through to a deep lunge. If you need blocks to do that, you're welcome to do that. Take your time getting there. And then lower the back knee. Hug to the midline. Hands to the front knee. Come up to Anjane Asana. Think low belly up. And just pause there. I'm going to have you interlace your hands behind the back of your head, right on that occipital point, and press back to really feel your core engage, and then lengthen up. And then maybe stretch your arms up from that place of deep connection in your core. Anjane Asana. Good, and then touch down. Again, you might need blocks. Slide your hips back to straighten your right leg for a runner's lunge. Draw the leg into the socket. Think core. Again, low belly up. Nice long spine. Maybe fold. Runner's lunge. And then bend back into the front knee. Lift the back knee. And you're probably going to not be able to use your blocks because we're going to step to downward facing dog. And then come forward to a plank pose. And I want you to make sure your feet are nice and wide in plank and your hands are stable right under the shoulders, and stay really strong in your core, and maybe lift your right hand up to touch your left shoulder. Remember, you're holding a glass on your back, so you have to stay super strong. If not, just come on fingertips. See if you can pause there, and then bring the hand down and lower the knees to lower down or lower down to the mat. Stretch your feet long. Come up on fingertips so hands are nice and wide. And make your way to funky cobra. So think rib cage back, round the clavicle, lift, funky cobra. You can slither around a little bit. Good. And then slide the hands back in. Push all the way back to a child's pose with extended arms. On fingertips. And then come on up to all fours. Curl the toes under in all fours. And just engage that core just like you did at the beginning, and lift your knees off the floor a little bit. Feel that in your core. Don't be a warrior, be your infinite loving self. Good. And then go ahead and push back to a down dog. And this time, make sure the feet are wide. See if you can do a one-handed down dog. So right hand comes to fingertips. Maybe right hand comes to your hip if you're feeling stable. Oh, or even wrap it around your back. Feels kind of nice for me. Keep the hips square, keep the core strong, and then release down. Walk your hands back to your feet, forward fold. This forward fold, I want you to interlace your hands and bring them to that occipital point on the back of your head again, and press to lengthen your spine and activate your core. Good, and then release. Come down to deep squat. Oh, wow, my block is right there for me to sit on. Hey, I got lucky. And then come back to Uttanasana, but this time bend your knees for that bear pose one more time. So think core is flat to the ceiling. Interlace your hands, stretch your arms, bear pose. Shoulder blades are on the back. If it feels better for you, you can stretch your palms forward. I like it the other way better. Good. And then release down. Uttanasana. And walk your hands back. Downward facing dog. Extend the left leg and step it through. Deep lunge. Lower the back knee. Take your time. Coming up. Feeling the hips square, feeling everything engaged in the core. But then just to feel that, bring the hands to the occipital point, press back, really engage the core. And stretch the arms up. Anjane. Good, touch down. Slide the hips back. Straighten the left leg. I always have to move my heel forward a little bit. Just engage the core. Keep a little baby bend in the knees. Lengthen the spine. Maybe fold. Good. Bend back into the front knee. Lift the back knee, step back, down dog. Make sure your feet are nice and wide. And come forward to plank. Left hand on the shoulder, on right shoulder. Elbow pointing down. It might feel different on one side compared to the other. If it's not feeling good, just stay on fingertips to try and put more weight just to work on that core. Good, and release. And push back. Child's pose. Come up on fingertips. And then slide forward onto your belly. Funky cobra. So fingertips wide, arms spread long. Come up. See how it feels. Wither around. And come on down. Push back to child's pose. And then find all fours. Position. Curl the toes. Lift the knees. Think really strong core. Left hand to right shoulder if possible, or just stay. You can wrap and push back to downward dog. One-handed down dog now. Or fingertips, or hand to the bum, or a wrap. Depends on how strong and stable you feel. Good. Release the hand to the floor. Walk hands back to feet. Malasana. And Uttanasana. And slowly come all the way up to standing. And stretch the arms up. Hands to heart center. Close your eyes, tap into that beautiful, flowing prana, life force. Good, stretch the arms up, open your eyes, and fold forward, Uttanasana. Bear pose again, so bend the knees, flat back, best you can. Interlace the hands, stretch them forward, either palms forward or knuckles forward. I like knuckles forward. Think really strong core, draw the low belly up, rib cage back. Really feel your feet engaged, your legs, your glutes. Good. And then fold forward, Uttanasana again. Good. And then bend your knees, bring your hands on your knees, and come up to Utkatasana. And stretch up, but as you come up, lift your right knee. Bring your right hand on your right inner middle thigh. Press down and away as you resist with your knee. Does this seem familiar? We did this on our backs. So if you can find that strong core, good. Bring both arms up. Bend your left knee and step forward to a crescent warrior. Yeah. It works when you have that nice, strong core. One more breath. And then touch down. And I'm going to have you think, okay, I'm going to step that back foot forward a little bit. I'm going to come upright. So I'm just kind of hovering over the knee. I'm going to engage that core, press the fist down like you're really engaging, and then see, maybe you can lift that back leg to warrior three. Whoa. Not working for me, good. And then step it back. Crescent warrior again. Try it one more time. Just bring knuckles down. Shift weight into your right foot. Warrior three. And then touch the floor. Standing split. I want you to really keep the core engaged. And now ground the back foot down. Ground the back foot down. Walk your hands to the inside. Come up to warrior two. Knew we were going to do some warriors, right? Interlace your hands behind you. And you can stay here in warrior two, or you can go for that humble warrior, which is what I'm gonna do. I'm just gonna fold forward, keep that back leg super strong. Feel your core super strong. Good, release the hands, turn the back heel up and come to a deep lunge and step back, downward dog. Walk your hands back towards your feet. Deep squat. You need to turn the feet out, do Alasana. Come back, Uttanasana. Bend your knees, hands on your knees, Utkatasana. Come up to standing, but as you do, lift your left knee. Extend the right arm. See if you can find some balance here. Might have to bring the arm out to the side, press down and away. See if you can get that really strong core feeling. Bring both hands up, bend the right knee, step forward, crescent warrior. If that doesn't work for you, it's okay. Hands to heart center. Lean forward. You might have to take a baby step. Make fist. Lift the back leg, warrior three. Touch down. Crescent warrior. We're going to do that one more time. If that doesn't work for you, just stay in that extended warrior. So you're standing forward. If you're going to warrior three, come on up. Breathe. Touch the floor. Standing splits. Whew. It's easy to lose the core as you transition. Good. Bring the back foot down, ground it down. Make your way warrior two. You can stay there or you can do that humble warrior. Just be mindful with your core. You just kind of fold forward, keeping both legs super engaged. Humble warrior. Good. Release the hands, come back to deep lunge. And step back. Down dog. And as we started, walk your hands back. Uttanasana. Stay for a moment. Make sure your feet are at least hip distance. Come up like a pranam. Bring your right hand to the outside of your left shin. And then bend your right knee and bring your left hand to your hip. And just feel that. Take a moment to feel the core strong and then twist. Yeah. Both hips stay square even though the knee's bent. Maybe extend the left arm if that feels good. Awesome. And release. Back to pranam position. We'll switch sides. So left hand to the right, outside of the right shin in front, bend the left knee, right hand to the hip. The left hip crease stays back still. Twist and maybe extend. Good, unwind. Inhale, pranam. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep all the way up to standing. Finally, get to be upright for a moment and bring hands to heart center. If you're really strong through both feet. Inhale, open your eyes, stretch up. And exhale, fold. Again, I'm going to have you bend your knees slightly. Bring the right hand to the outside of the left shin. And then bring the left hand to the outside of the right shin. So both hands are there. And then bend your knees and see if you can get your armpits right on your knees as you bend. Yeah. And maybe even come down to a deep squat. And I want you to feel how that lengthens your spine. Ooh. If you can't go all the way down, it's fine. I just want you to use that, think of that as another tool to add traction to your spine. Oh, that feels good. Good, now come up to bear position. So flat back. And see, maybe you can walk forward like that. A little bit. And then walk back. I know. Nice long spine. Good, release your hands, fold forward. Walk your hands back out, downward facing dog. Come forward to plank. You can use two hands on this one and lower down, either lower the knees, come down, or lower all the way down. Regular cobra. Think of it as a spinal extension. Feel that lengthening process. We've been doing it all class, so it's easier to feel here, I think. Good, and then lower down, push all the way back. Child's pose. Hands under forehead. Couple breaths. Make your way to all fours. And just work through a couple towel taps. And then swivel your feet to one side and come to a seated position. I'm going to sit on a blanket, but you decide for Dandasana. So your feet stretched long. Turn this way. Might have to inner spiral, you decide. And I want you to think, actually bring your hands behind your head so you can press back and lift up and lengthen, just like you've been doing. Keep that, stretch your arms up. So you feel the low belly, drawing up, the sit bone's grounded, really feel connected, and then fold forward and where your body says, really press the heels down, active feet, where your body says, oh, that's far enough for my hamstrings, and just bring your hands down. And then just pause, reconnect everywhere, and maybe reach for your ankles or the feet if that's available to you. And fold into Paschimottanasana. Okay, come on back up. Bring the soles of your feet together. I like to grab under my ankles. Seated Baddha Konasana. So think you use your elbows to press down on the upper thighs and then extend your spine long out of that. And then use that long spine to open the knees wider. And then if you have that, then maybe you can fold over your feet. Feeling that spinal traction and lengthening feels really nice. Good, come on back up. So good, yeah. And go ahead and transition to your back. And bring your feet nice and wide. Arms in cactus. Just notice your long spine. Notice a little curve in the low back. And then let both knees drop to the right. And then bring the knees up and over to the left. And one more time to the right. And to the left. And bringing both knees up. Bring the feet right under the knees. Hands by the hips. Think of that super nice long spine that's connected. Press into the feet and lift to Setu Bandha. And if you have a block handy, I probably should have mentioned that. Come on down and grab your blocks. I forgot. You have to have a block because we're going to do supported. Yeah. Sorry, guys. So set up again. Think long spine. And lower down. Don't go higher than medium height with the block. So I want you to work. So feel the sacrum down. Feel the low belly draw up. Lengthen the spine. You even have to move your shoulders. Broaden the clavicles. Lengthen through the top of the head. So it's kind of a working, supported Setu Bandha. Good. And then once you get that, once you feel like, oh, that feels good, but a lot of work, then just relax into it. And if you want to, you can bring the knees up, so the knees are right above the hips. Sometimes that feels good. Or even extend the legs to the side. You can, if your legs are extended, then you can move your feet around a little bit and feel good. Really good and strengthening in the core. And it's long like this, stretches out all those muscles again. And bring the feet down. Lift up just enough to slide the block out. And come on down. Go ahead and stretch your legs and stretch your arms. And transition for Shavasana. If you want to cover up, you're more than welcome. And turn to that flowing, infinite breath. When you turn to your breath, I feel like you turn to the essence of who you really are. And you invite life force to help guide you. Use that life force now to just help you relax every exhale. Think a little deeper, relax a little more. Perhaps scanning from head to toe to help you identify where you're still holding tension, muscle energy. Every time you turn to your breath, helps you remember your single purpose. Single goal, which is peace of mind. If you do tap into your warring self, you don't feel like you have peace of mind because you know you have a better way of dealing with things. Sometimes we do have to be tough and stand our ground, but we can use the strength of who we are and with love in our hearts to get our point across. We don't have to go to war. Our warring self and our infinite self always stand side by side. They're both always present. We can make a choice. When we do pause to make a choice, it always turns out much better. Choose to relax fully in this moment. Finding and appreciating your breath once again. Begin to move, stretch in small ways. When you're ready, begin to transition on up to seated. Take your time. Bring hands to heart center. Just bow to the essence of you, soul. Thank you guys so much for practicing today. I bow to that beautiful light that emanates from each of you. Namaste. And also to you, Birdie. Namaste. Thanks, guys. Have a great, fabulous day. It looks like the sun is starting to peek out, maybe. Really.